Hello, beautiful Libra souls, and welcome to your 2025 tarot forecast. This is your psychic advisor, Micah, and I'm with Tarot Bay, and I've got a lot to say right now. Not really. Actually, I am in an effort to make these videos shorter, and I was feeling sort of like not wanting to do this video, but I was like, I think that's a good energy to have because then hopefully it won't be 45 minutes long. And I was trying to get, I think I said this at the beginning of all of my videos, but like I was trying to get into the groove of doing longer format videos and then cutting them up and putting them into shorts or whatever. That's still happening. I just, you know, haven't been feeling like doing it. But anyway, more about Libra. So Libra 2025. So 2025, I'm seeing is like a year. It's like a very, I'm seeing it as like a very, depending like how you do the math, I'm seeing it as like a very Sagittarian year where it's going to be about travel, higher education. I always see Sagittarius as like the sign of the foreigner. So it's like, an Italian person amongst a bunch of Indian people, or an Indian person amongst of Italian people. They prefer to be that way. They prefer to be the foreigner. They prefer to be the person with like, exoticism, So that's what this year could, 2025 could be about. I guess if you do the math differently, it would be, let's see, let's do some math. If you did the math differently, it would be, no, it'll still be Sagittarius. Either way you do it, it's still Sagittarius. Okay, so, what we're going to do in this reading is that we are going to go month by month, starting with April 2025, and then we're going to end in March 2026. Each one of the astrological houses or seasons or months or whatever that I talk about also correlate to a certain part of your life. So as I'm about to talk about the season or the month of April, the season of spring, the month of April, it will also be talking about things that are going on in the first house of your astrology. So the astrological first house talks about self-esteem, your appearance, the way you look, the way you identify yourself, which from seeing these cards, it's the Queen of Swords reversed. So as a Libra sun, moon, rising, Venus, Mars, Stellium, Neptune, Saturn, Jupiter, you are a Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords, like, you don't have to be an air sign sun to be the Queen of Swords. It could even be like the way you look. It could be somewhat attached to your name. So you could be a Cancer, you could be a Scorpio sun, you could be an Aries, Mars, and Venus. But when you're doing the tarot, if you keep coming up as the Queen of Swords, there might be something wrong with your birth information, or because of your name and your numerology, because of the city that you were born in. Maybe you're born in a very Libra city or town or part of your town. You are the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords is reversed. This is somebody who is like curses a lot or puts curses on people. They're very much focused on the past. And somebody has to be, because it's like, oh, well, don't look back in anger. Don't focus on the past. Move on to the future. Focus on the present. Which you should. Those are all healthy things to do. But there has to be somebody that knows case law or knows somebody's reputation. So, Libra, if you have a bad reputation, people know about it, okay? Or you may be the gatekeeper or knower of everybody's bad reputation from the past, or just their track record. It doesn't even have to be bad per se, but per se is like my favorite word right now. I don't know why. And then okay, so that's April. So like, and then this Queen of Swords, it could be you, it could be another person. It could be your mother who purposefully was trying to lower your self-esteem and you're becoming aware of that. You may just be aware of like who's putting a curse on you or who's cursing your name or your father. It could be because of your father's last name, things like that. You may be cursing yourself because of your father's last name. You may no longer want to have your last name. You want to change your name, your identity. Okay, so moving right along into the month of May, into the house of money, finances, and your priorities, we have the Six of Pentacles reversed. So you might need to you might need to borrow some money. You might need to beg somebody for money. You might need to get a loan from someone who's born on the sign of Taurus. There could be a Taurus who is begging money from you. I don't necessarily see a birthday party, so they're not begging you for money for their birthday. They're just begging you money because they're like in desperate need. The Six of Pentacles, it's like, I see it as like a beggar or someone who's begging to borrow, but it also comes up as a rapper. And I saw that for like the first time in this TikTok reading that I was doing. And I said beggar because I was like, I don't know, but it's like someone with like saggy pants. Um, like, sort of like, oh God, of course I forget which song it is, but it's like the Michael Jackson song, like The Girl Is Mine, or like it's like some Chris Brown song, and he's kind of like singing to the woman and like dancing around her, like following her down the street, like, um, that's not the girl. It's some like, I need to do more research, but it's a Michael Jackson song, I forget, and it's, PYT or The Way You Make Me Feel, one of those songs, or probably all of those songs, he's like dancing down the street and sort of like begging this girl for attention and affection. So when I'm saying that this person is a beggar or a rapper, like, rappers are pleading or advertising or working for your attention, affection, adoration, maybe money if they're like busking or something or playing at a show. But it also, in the tarot, like, if you're doing a tarot scope on a person, you see the Six of Pentacles and like the Hermit and like the Star reversed. This is like someone who's like an unwashed street person. So, but just seeing this one singular card here, it's like it could be a person with the appearance of an unwashed street person, like how a rapper would dance, dress, and behave. Um, and if you're not from an urban area, like if you're from a more rural area, it could be someone who acts like really country. And I don't know, maybe something about that, like they're not afraid to ask for money or beg for money. You could be, as this is a year of foreign travel, you could be leaving like Turkey somewhere and coming to the United States with a bunch of cash, only to realize like a lot of businesses have gone cashless. So, you could just be going out for drinks or something to eat with your tourist friend, and you have to like beg, exchange, use them as an ATM type of situation. Um, but then as I'm seeing this as a rapper, I don't know. So like, Libra rap, I always say that Libra's kind of like the aesthetic gangster, or most of the things that they are, it's mostly aesthetic. So if you met a Libra person and they were like really goth and morose and blah blah blah, it's not their true identity. It's just who they're like sort of pretending to be. So as a Libra, you might be like cursing a lot. You might say the N word a lot. You might have a priority to behave. It might be your priority to behave as someone who's like a beggar or a rapper. Um, and then I don't know, P Diddy, Eminem. I went on some Twitter rant about Eminem, but I don't know. I know a lot of like one of my clients who actually was a Libra. She was talking to me a lot about the Illuminati and stuff like that, and I was like, I believe in that stuff. Like, there's obviously a white supremacist cabal going on in this world that I think a lot of people are like either okay with or cool with or whatever. But I never really thought to do tarot about it or cared. When I do tarot, I'm like, where is the bag and where are my TV references? Where is the bag and where is my soulmate? I was gonna say I can't think of any of the Brady Bunch boys, but I was gonna say Tom. I was like, where is the bag and where is Tom Brady? Tom Brady is he's like the Patriots quarterback, I guess. But I'm trying to think about remember the America's Next Top Model, Adrian Curry, and then she married that guy who was a Brady. I forget which Brady Bunch boy it was, but it was like a Brady Bunch boy. And she was like, "Oh, I had a crush on him when I was a kid and I was watching him on television." And then they were like in a relationship on television. I wonder where they are. I wonder if they're still together. Reality TV is crazy. But anyway, so that does feel like an energy that's coming along in May 2025 for not just Libra though, but because this Libra video, um, any reading that I do when I start to talk about the seventh house or the month of October, it always talks to me about like your manifestations coming through. You're in it's like the season of receiving. Um, so if Virgo and September are the harvest, where you grew all your oranges and you busheled them up. Libra is the part of the season where you're like weighing your harvest. Like, your 80 pounds of oranges translates into how many X, Y, and Z dollars. And then you exchange those X and Y and Z dollars to then go to, the Capricorn store. And then that's where you buy all your gifts and junk for Christmas and all the Tickle Me Elmos and new pitchforks and things that you need to bring in a bigger, better harvest the next year. Um, so it's a scale, but it's like a scale. It's magnets, and even nowadays, scales are very high tech. You can like tear the balance so that you can weigh even more on it. So it's like magnets and computers and things like that. So this is receiving. So this is like, if you're karmically um, deserving of payback, good or bad payback, like someone owes you money and they're giving you the money that they owe you, or you owe somebody else money and they come and take it from you. Um, you'll see a lot of that happening or having resolution in 2025, most likely around May. Okay, so now that this video is successfully 45 minutes, just from the second house alone, we're going to move along into the third house, the month of June, the season of Gemini, and we have the Judgment card reversed. So if you're watching this video and you have a yes or no question on your mind, you're like, is Tom Brady ever going to come back to me? Uh, you know, um, will I ever see Tom Brady again? Is Tom Brady ever going to be the quarterback that he used to be? Um, is the sky falling? The answer is no. So, if you're wondering, are you going to reconcile with your siblings or your old coworkers? Because I'm also seeing like the Nine of Pentacles cross this. Like your ex-girlfriend who stole your old clothes or stole a bunch of money from you, are you going to reconcile with them? Probably not. So you might have had like an ex-girlfriend or an ex with long hair that might have had like a feminine name like Trixie, Tracy, Stacy, uh, Bobby, Benny, Booby, like the little IEY names that I see with the Queen of Swords. She might have stolen clothes from you. They might have stolen money from you. They might have stolen time from you. They might have wasted your time. And the outcome is that there's no reconciliation. I do off so like that's the thing too about a tarot reading, because you might be like really in love with this girl named Maggie, and you're like, how do I get her back? I know I did her wrong. I stole money from her. She caught me wearing one of her dresses. Like, like how do I rectify that situation? And maybe you are a person that doesn't have her best intentions. Maybe you don't even have the best intentions for yourself, which can all change. But so I offer spell work and specifically for reconciliation, specifically to turn the Judgment card reverse upright. And I think that with the Judgment card in the third house in the Gemini season in the month of June uh, talks about wanting to at least speak with each other and be casual and friendly. Um, and that's sort of like Libra's way of making friends is like at first they're like Pepe Le Pew and you can't get away with them because they're just so new and shiny and you're sort of like a Labrador and so you're like in love with them. And then after a while, after the coals or the flames have cooled down from these feelings of affection, it's more like, well, not like I guess friend zone. Like I want to be your friend now, but I still like you, so I want to talk to you, can still be friendly, all those things. So you might have stabbed a lot of people in the back in the past, and you're almost afraid to reconcile with them because you're like, I don't want to get stabbed in the back the same way that I did to other people. Um, so you could do this reconciliation spell, which will create peace between you and other people or another person, particularly, probably particularly a Gemini and a Scorpio. So you might have stolen something from a Gemini and a Scorpio. A Gemini and a Scorpio might have stolen something from you. But just to get the path started for reconciliation or revenge, you have to reconcile, right? Like you have to like at least meet back up again. So if you're worried about that, like so let's say you did a Gemini really wrong, you really double crossed a Scorpio, and you're like, am I ever gonna see them again? Are they gonna try to get revenge? Are they gonna try to hurt me? I see that the answer is no. Um, not at least not in June of 2025. So that might be very good for you to hear. But if you want to have like peace of mind, like calm, right? So it's like, you're at a place, you're at an Airbnb in Bali, and you're like, they say this water has sharks in it, and I would prefer to see a shark just to know that it's there, so that or where it is, so that I don't have to live in fear of like, is it gonna come try to come and get me? I don't know if that's the best thing, but I guess that's sort of what I'm saying. Like, sort of like I guess if you're playing Grand Theft Auto and you have the little map or whatever, and it tells you where the police officers are when they're like chasing you, um, you'll at least know where they are. So if you're like really worried about running into your ex, and you're like, you stop going to your favorite grocery store. You want to go to Whole Foods, but you keep going to Trader Joe's and buying a bunch of candy and like, you know, stupid Trader Joe's stuff, frozen food, because you're too afraid to go to Whole Foods because your ex might work there, or your brother might work there, your sister might work there, or whatever it is. Only to realize like they moved away like 3 years ago. They're like in frickin' Alaska somewhere, and it's like you can go back to driving your regular route to work and going to your regular Whole Foods, and you can go back to that Starbucks that's only 2 minutes away from your house, opposed to the one that's 30 minutes away from your house, just to avoid the barista that you had a crush on because they quit and they moved, and you don't have to worry about it. If that makes sense, you know what I mean? So it's like, you might be avoiding going to the store because you're worried about seeing an ex, but they moved away because you did this reconciliation spell. And the way that spell work happens, right? So you might be like looking for somebody, right? And we'll call them an ex. It could be your mother, especially with this energy of Gemini that does talk about family. So, with the reconciliation spell, what you would do, right in hand with Gemini, is that you would speak reconciliation to existence. I would give you like 7 lines of affirmations, and I do my whole ritual. And then for like 2 weeks, you would say like, me and Trixie are reconciling. Me and Trixie, or whatever the affirmations are, particular to your situation. And then you will be scrolling Facebook one day, and they'll update it, and they're like, oh, I moved to Alaska. I'm doing really good. I got married. I have a puppy. And that might not be reconciliation, like sitting down and having an Italian dinner with each other, but it is like the reconciliation of your mind and spirit and your sense of peace and calm within your own environment. And so, if you're a person and you're thinking about doing spell work and you're like kind of on the fence, I see that June 2025 would be a good time to start or to do this spell in particular, because it could be a thing. It's not it is a thing. Where people go off to war, they come back home and they're still afraid that the war is still going on. There are people who have hundreds of thousands of dollars in their bank account, but because they grew up poor or not having, or they survived a war or the Great Depression, or because their parents were immigrants or because they were immigrants, whatever their situation is, they still feel poor. Like maybe it's the way they look, maybe it's their teeth, the way they walk, whatever. But it's like this, and I know a lot of people who've struggled with their weight, which Libras are known to struggle with weight because they are the scales. There's a lot of people who, like, growing up being like the fat kid, always getting made fun of, always being the butt of the joke, being looked at as like Turtle from Entourage, which Libra and Cancer, very turtle signs. Um, even to the point that, like, as a overweight person, you might be making yourself the butt of the joke all the time. You're like, oh, I love to eat. Don't let any don't leave any chicken fingers around me. I'm gonna gobble them up. Because it comes so natural to you, and you might have lost this weight. You might be making fat jokes about yourself, and people are like, this person's in shape. Like, they're just like fishing for compliments. Like, what do they want from me? you know. So I see that energy going on too. Okay, so that's been enough time with that. I guess we're going to spend 10 minutes in each house. Hopefully not. Hopefully the rest of these will go by quicker. And then even, um, like, I believe, even like reading natal charts and doing this style of reading, I always feel like by the time I get to the eighth house, I'm repeating information, even though it's like different cards. So we'll see that happen later. But okay, so moving right along, Libra, into the month of July in the season of Cancer, we have the Seven of Swords reversed. So the Seven of Swords reversed talks about like getting away with it, and I can't, I'm talking about going to war and why you might feel like the war will follow you home is because what we think about war in this day and age is very different. Like we think about like foxholes or cannons and muskets and pirate ships or um like the blitzkrieg, like planes attacking civilians, and the stuff that's going on in the Gaza Strip, and like, oh, war, shrapnel and bombs and tanks and guns. But a big part of war is like the Navy sending gigantic ships of just like ruthless, evil, uh, unchivalrous men who, like, begat like kind of what what they did to Hawaii. Like, come down there, begat bastards, open up bars and get everyone addicted to alcohol, and just like ruin the country or the people from the inside out. So when you do that, like, one of those bastards might follow you home. Like you might be coming back from this. I always call it like Scandinavery, where it's just like just evil. I mean, just evil for the sense of being evil. And you might feel like you were a victim of that. Like, you might have had a child with somebody somewhat against your will or unwittingly, or especially as a Libra, you might have felt like a doormat, like forced into a situation that you may not have had power to fight against. And it's really easy for me or for anyone to call Libra a doormat because they're not Scorpio yet. That this is the lifetime in which you learn about power. You're constantly seeking peace and reconciliation because you fear, as you should, that you may not be strong enough to defeat your enemies. In which you do have a lot of enemies because Libras tend to be very beautiful. And beautiful doesn't necessarily mean like a size 0 and 24 inches of blonde hair. Beautiful is, decorating yourself with color and rhinestones and um, anything. You know what I mean? Like there's like beauty's in the eye of the beholder. You know what I'm saying? So um, Libras are very beautiful, and like so what is beautiful? I mean, like it could just be that you're wearing like designer clothes and you have the little AirPods sticking out of your ear, and it's very aesthetic and it's very satisfying looking. And to people who are dissatisfied with life, that might cause them to feel angry. And you might have to like attack them from the inside out and begat bastards and all this Scandinavian. But also, it's like using your words to defeat your enemies as well. So in July, you might have some interactions with a Cancer or an Aquarius or another Libra. Air signs tend to hang out in gangs, so that's a thing too. And they might have stolen from something from you. You might feel, like I said, like walked all over by these people. Um, and that's what you're feeling. That's what you're feeling. And the only advice, so like the advice how to avoid, because these cards, not to give away the rest of the show, do look very not necessarily like negative, but just not like the best cards that you would want to see. And I do think that the best option for you would be spell work. I would recommend getting it like as soon as you hear this video, but definitely by June 2025. It's like somebody wants to steal stuff from your mother, or your mother stole a bunch of stuff, or your mother's side of the family is like known for stealing. It's a part of your reputation. And then moving into the fifth house, which is, the Leo house, ego, sex life, creativity. It's also the house that I see as sort of like an obstacle, whereas like, you might have to fill out some type of report. You might have to make 12 astrology videos for your YouTube channel, but then, you see some guy in his underwear on uh, Instagram, and then you're like in a porn hole for like 8 days or 6 days. So that's the obstacle. The obstacle is like getting caught in the web of sexiness, which the card that you have here in your August 2025 fifth house Leo energy is that of the Six of Swords. How do you combat these people wanting to like, and the thing is, I did a reading for a woman one time. She was a Virgo, I believe, or the guy that she was interested in was a Virgo, and she was like 18 years old on her way to college. I don't know which college, a really good one. And this guy, he was like a Six of Pentacles, like a beggar. Like he wasn't going to school, wasn't going off to college, or I don't know what his college plans were, but they weren't good because I could see that he wanted to have a baby with her, just not to hold her back and keep her in his arms. Not like, oh, well, she's going off to college and I love her and I can't compete, so I'm going to have a baby with her and that's going to keep us together. No, 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 no. He wanted to have a baby with her to sabotage her college career and then to ultimately sabotage her life because he wasn't going to be an adequate provider for that child intentionally on purpose. It's not like, oh, I love you so much. You're going to college. I'm jealous. Well, let's accidentally, quote unquote, have a baby. And then we're going to rough it out from there and live like American Gothic. And, we're going to bale hay until, we make this work. It's more like, I'm going to make you have this child and I'm going to bail out and ruin your life. Scandinavian, I know it's like it's a racist term. It totally is a racist term, but I feel like you can be racist towards Nordics. Like what did like what oppression have they been through other than the Scandinavia they've led across the planet? But so like how do you let's say you're this guy or this woman whatever Marvin, you're like, oh, I've been with Marvin for 7 years. I can feel that my intuition has been telling me that he wants to have a child out of sabotage. Um, but I don't want to break up with him. I don't want to leave him. What do? You do the spell work, you do this affirmation. So the Six of Swords, I always see as like the need of, I do what I call intuitive affirmations, which are ultimately positive affirmations. But, if you're trapped in a hole and all you really need is rope, like, all I need is rope just to get out of this hole. As soon as you get out of the hole, you're going to need food and water and clothes and, um, a life and a home and all those other things. But sometimes you can be so low that you have to ask for little, or you start asking for little, um, because of the situation that you're in. So sometimes positive affirmations of like, I'm driving around in a Ferrari in a private Ferrari jet to Mars, might seem very impossible or unattainable. So, as you're doing these affirmations, it's like, I'm getting out of this hole. I got a rope. I just got a beat up old Mustang, and then you come for affirmations next year, and it's like, okay, well, I just sold the Mustang and I bought a brand new Hyundai, and then I bought two Hyundais, and then, the next year it's like life is doing, we're doing better. I'm buying luxury vehicles. I have storage for them. I have gas for them. And that's how the affirmations kind of build and grow. So, you're dating this guy, Tom Brady, and he's cheating, he's bad, he's begatting bastards, and he wants to have a baby with you to sabotage your life. You don't want to leave him because you're a Libra. So right now, I'm recording this in October in the season of Libra, um, 2024. So right now, this is when you're supposed to start this spell work to change the situation that's going to be unfolding next year. And if you don't start now in October, like I said 17 times already, June 2025 is the time to start. So you got like 6 months, like half a year to start the spell work. And the thing is, like, I suggest working with me, obviously, because I've done so many spells and things like that before, but you can come up with your own affirmations and get the party started way before you even speak to me, and just to see what results that you get doing your own spell work at home. Okay, so this whole reading is somewhat about spell work, but we're going to keep on pushing through. Um, and as we get older and life goes on, you might develop like a lot of people who view you as an ex or someone who like they were in love with, like, from Facebook, from MySpace, from seeing you at the mall. I did a reading for this other woman. I think she was a Virgo as well. And her whole reading was about like some guy that she saw on the bus, and then she like looked and smiled at them. Like, and he was like with his girlfriend. And I was like doing the reading, and I was like, well, he doesn't know you. And he was like scared because you were like making extended eye contact with him. And it's like, but to her, that was like an ex-boyfriend. That's someone that she had fallen in love with that day, And I thought that was like super weird, and it made me like really uncomfortable to do the reading. But as I have been getting older and feeling lonelier, I'll go to a store and I'll like see somebody, the person while waiting for their food in front of me in the line, and I'm like, this person is the love of my life. Like, I need to like find some way to attach myself to them. And then, tomorrow it's a different person and a new story. Um, and maybe all these Virgo people have like rising Venus, Libra connection, whatever. But so I understand. I do understand that energy. I guess is the long story short. But anyway, so actually talking about Virgo and moving into the season of Virgo, the month of September 2025, we have the Page of Swords. So you might be learning more about yourself in September. You may be connecting with your inner child and your spirit guides, where you're like, I don't like bubblegum. I was just chewing bubblegum to fit in with my friends when I was 7, and I keep buying Trident and or I guess Trident, like mint gum is good, but like, I keep buying Bubblicious bubble gum and like I don't even like it. Or cigarettes or social media or you might be working at a job, you might be working at a restaurant or something because all your friends work there, but you're like woefully overly overqualified to be in that position. You might be playing yourself small or short now to outshine your parents or your friend group, and there's no reason for that. I also see that if you're struggling financially or looking for a new job, a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or Virgo would be like really helpful in your job search. Um, and also, when it comes to work, I have been feeling this energy where it's like, like don't apply for a job at the movie theaters if you know that you hate the smell of popcorn, because you're gonna have to smell popcorn there. Like don't become a nanny if you hate children. Don't become a researcher if you hate being on the computer. Like there are things in your work life that you're not paying attention to or you're not looking at clearly, and you just need to look at them clearly. Where I feel like a lot of times, even with your own life and even with your own health, you know what I mean? Like you might have some like obvious signs of an illness or a sickness that you need to get checked out, and you're just choosing not to look at it. Like I had these black marks going down my nails, and I was like, uh-oh, like, what is this about? And I looked it up online, and it was like an early indicator of like cancer, like melanoma. And I was like, uh-oh, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. And so for a little while, as it was so scary, I was like, I'm just gonna ignore this, you know what I mean? Hopefully it'll go away. Which I went to my doctor, and then it did go away, and it wasn't cancer, thank God. But that's what I see what you're doing with your health and your work situation, is that you're just kind of averting your eyes. And you may have an illness or a sickness. It might be a mental illness. It might be a physical illness. You might just be simply exhausted, you know? But so it's like look at things clearly, get advice, uh, and another air sign person can help you. Even your own inner child. Like, what did you want to be when you were a kid? Like, did you want to be an airline pilot? Like, did you want to do this? Did you want to do that? Like, don't be afraid to be who you wanted to be. And there is still time. Okay. So, moving right along into the season of Libra, which I am recording this in the Libra season of 2024. This is looking at Libra season 2025. We have the Ace of Pentacles reversed. So, there is like this huge energy all 2025 of like get back, payback, revenge. I want my time back. I want my money back. I want my ring back. I want my toys back. I want my clothes back. I want the Ace of Pentacles is like it's also like a grinder for like weed, like a little spherical grinder for weed. You can put your weed in it. Oh, that's an L joke. Rob Schneider. Uh, you can or it's also like a yo-yo. It's like a ball in a cup, or like that ping pong paddle thing. It's like toys and trinkets and souvenirs and like little tchotchkes. And it's like you wanting those things back. You could be going through a breakup in 2025. So, like I'm saying, like, right now, 2024, or at least by June, start speaking better things into existence, either within your own relationship, for yourself, with other people. And then also, I don't see the Eight of Swords here. I do see the Seven of Swords. But it's like, you might even be saying something to you like a lot of trade, you know what I mean? Oh, trade came over. And I get it. I understand slang and yah, but like trade is an indicator that like you're so unattractive or unappealing that the only way that you could get with somebody who is super attractive, or the types of people that you're super attracted to, is through some type of trade, which is either financial, drugs, offering people rides, offering people some sort of service in turn for friendship, affection, sex, whatever the situation may be. So this may not be what you actually want for your life, but because you say these things, or like, I want to date some thug, oh, he'd probably just rob me, blah blah blah. I mean, you could be dating, this guy Tom Brady, and he is a noble, chivalrous, amazing, great stand-up character, but you could be putting a curse on him because of your own low self-esteem, like, oh, he's just trying to rob me, he's trying to scam me, he just wants to have a baby with me and not take care of it. And then from you speaking that into existence, and then ultimately your body taking actions towards creating that situation, uh, it could turn a great situation into a bad situation, or turn a bad situation even worse. So I'm not saying to be delusional and to be dating some guy who's like some guy or some woman, uh, Tammy Brady, who's like obviously cheating on you, obviously has bad intentions, and then for you to turn your head around like a Disney princess and being like, my relationship is happy, my relationship is great, he's not cheating on me, I'm not watching him cheat in front of me right now, that type of stuff. Um, but it is about talking like waking up in the morning, while you're drinking your tea or coffee or whatever it is, and saying like, today I will have a miracle. I'm in an amazing relationship with a man who loves me. Um, I am in an amazing relationship with a woman who loves me, or whatever the situation is. So that you can be more confident, not only in your love life but in yourself, because like getting cheated on, being with somebody who's putting on the back burner will ultimately lower your self-esteem and your sense of self-worth. So you might be with someone who's like, oh, I know he cheats, but he's hot. You know what I mean? Or I want to be with somebody who's so hot I don't mind if he cheats. And you could be single right now. You could be single and be like, I'm gonna date Tom Brady. I don't care. I don't even care if he cheats on me. And then when the reality strikes in 2025, and you're dating, celebrity quarterback Tom Brady, and he's cheating on you, it hurts, and you're gonna want payback and revenge and get back. Okay, so this little chunk of 2025 stinks like a skunk. Okay, it's like not the best energy to be in, but I see by November you're attracting the world card, so that's why I started talking about confidence and you feeling more confident. So with the world card, it's like you don't really have to do anything. It's sort of like what you've been speaking into existence. Like you're gonna get there eventually. Is always my philosophy. So if you wanted to work on the new Hubble telescope, if they're even doing something like that, and you dropped out of college and you smoke weed all the time, so much you can't even find your grinder. You think somebody stole it, and you keep asking for it back, and you have it. um, uh, you use negative affirmation, you curse yourself, you curse your friend, you curse your plants, your dogs, all that type of stuff. You are in unconditional alignment with your destiny. So if it is your destiny to work for NASA or to work for Tommy Bahama, you are going to. It's just about how you take care of yourself before you get there. So, if you're in a low self esteem storm because of, naked images online, or because you stalk your ex all day and night, when they make you the CEO of Tommy Bahama, at least for the first 6 months or 6 years, you're going to be like really broke, might be like super overweight. You might have like a drug addiction, alcohol addiction that you're gonna have to fight through. Versus if you start right now, or at least by June 2025, if you start right now speaking better things into existence, like I'm going to the gym. I love going to the gym. I love eating healthy. Eating healthy food tastes so good. Oh my God, broccoli is so delicious. You put ranch dressing on it, it's just like chicken wings, stuff like that. Then you can hit this confident energy that I'm seeing in November 2025 a lot sooner. And then when you walk into the boardroom at Tommy Bahama, you're in shape, you're confident, you're not worried if you smell like last night's gin. You're not worried if you smell like a cigarette because you kicked the habit, or at least enough to smoke later in the day. You know what I mean? Um, but that's what that is. And so moving right along. So the way I was saying that these sometimes go into a circle is that I'm seeing the Judgment card reverse in June 2025, and then I'm seeing the Justice card upright in December of 2025. So if you have been waiting on reconciliation or to receive revenge or justice for something that an Aries or a Gemini or Scorpio did or said about you or stole from you. I mean, there could have been a lot of things going on. There could have been like an Aries talking shit about the way you look. There could be a Taurus begging money from you. There could be a Gemini casting negative judgment or trying to purposely frame or ruin your reputation. There could have been a Cancer that stole something from you or cheated on you in some way. Uh, all these things. Another Libra could have stolen your weed grinder or whatever, or stolen your grinder account, like the dating app grinder. And you're just like, man, like, oh my god, like all these like horrible things are happening to me. So everyone's super untrustworthy and yada yada yada, like all these negative affirmations. And so like I said, so like November, dream job. Um December, justice and revenge. So like not necessarily revenge like you like slapping somebody or an eye for an eye type of revenge, but it's just like feeling satiated and satisfied with the situation. So it's like somebody stole something from your house and then you found out that their house collapsed, and it's like, okay, does that bring back the photos or the important items that I lost from their theft? No. Do I feel like the universe is on my side and that even though karma is through a lifetime of actions, do I feel like there's a direct karmic link to the negative events that this person who I don't like is experiencing? Yes. So, and that's the thing too about like like I was saying about like weight loss, financial gain, and satisfaction. Because, you could have grown up as a fat kid, you could have lost a whole bunch of weight, but still feel like an outcast or off color or a misprint to the rest of your family for whatever reason. You could have grown up poor and then, everyone that you hang out with is Fortune 500, but, they talk about the private schools that they went to and you went to a public university. You know what I mean? Like, it's just things that you never really get off your shoulder, or like PTSD from a war. And as a social sign, as an air sign, going to school, going to college, going to work is sort of like a war for you because there's people trying to attack you and play all these games for power that you're late to the game for because you're a Libra. You're not really searching for power, you're more searching for like stability and peace and harmony, which doesn't really have that much of a appeal in a capitalist society. Okay, and then so moving right along, so that's December 2025. This is now January 2026. We are way, way, way in the future. We have the Queen of Cups reversed. So I see that there's like a lot of women that you're interacting with and dealing with. Interdealing. That should be a word. And they don't like you so much. So there's like a Queen of Swords who's like very much around like where you live. It could potentially be a neighbor, or a family member who's like sort of cursing you. And then there's this either like Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer woman around your career and destiny who's trying to create blockages, who's like sad about the future. So the Queen of Swords is angry about the past, and the Queen of Cups is angry about the future. So like, I mean, it's something I think about as I've been getting older, where it's like, my grandmother or my great grandmother might be like, oh, when I was growing up, the bus was like a quarter. It was like a quarter to get on the bus, or the streetcar or trolley or whatever it was. What is this? The Ace of Pentacles reversed in the seventh house. Back in my day, the train was $1.25 and it took you all the way to Bermuda. Um, so there's somebody like going through that type of energy with like the future where it's like, oh man, like cars drive themselves. I was upset and depressed because as a woman, I couldn't learn how to drive, or nobody taught me how to drive. I wasn't expected to drive. It was unladylike to drive. So late bloomer driving, or a woman who's like, I've been driving my whole life. I drove trucks, I drove this, I drove that, and now they have self-driving cars and self-driving trucks and Lyft and Uber. When I was in high school, I didn't have a car, and it made me feel like such a loser. And now my daughter, she's freaking, in middle school or 14, a freshman, and she's going to all the parties and she's going to all the football games, and she doesn't need a car and she's not driving anywhere. No one even asks about cars. When she goes out, no one asks what cars she drives, or, your teenagers might be like hanging out in your house and they don't talk about what cars their parents drive. Or you might hear some little kid be like, my dad doesn't drive. He sold our car and we take Lyft and Uber everywhere and it's great. And it just sounds so rich and expensive to you, or something that you could have never imagined. Or you could be at work, the Page of Swords, ignoring your finances, talking about how you Uber Eats all your meals and you Uber everywhere to get around, and they're just like, oh, you must not have children. Oh, you must have graduated college. Oh, you must have done this. You must have done that. Which could be true, could not be true, but it's making this person miserable and sad, and they want to cause blockages to your destiny. So how do you defeat them? They're a new adversary for the new year, but you use spell work and affirmations. Or you seduce them, which I think that Libra is actually very good at. And I think that this person, I think they might have like their mother may have passed away. So speaking to them about their mother or just speaking to them about their childhood is what they need. So you as a Libra, you might be like some type of like guidance counselor or therapist or whatever it is. And it's like, how do I connect with my clients more? How do I connect with people more? Ask them about their childhood. Ask them about, because RuPaul does a thing about asking a bunch of drag queens about their relationship to their father, which is super shady. But with, I guess, like other people or within your profession, it's more apropos for you to ask people about their relationship to their mom and how they feel about her, how they feel like she might have been trying to sabotage them, or whatever, uh, or what her career was, or like So I guess like when meeting people, like they say in DC that people are like very like, hi, you're like, hi, what do you do for work? What kind of car do you drive? You know what I mean? So maybe to end that, it's like, hi, who's your mother? What does your mom do for work? Like how did you end up here in this situation where you are, opposed to, oh, you're this type of person and you work here and you drive this type of car, you're terrible. I don't know. I like literally I do these readings because I'll do the like I do personalized readings for my clients, and I'll just be like going on and on and on for hours. I'm like, this, like, there's no way that any of this makes sense to who I'm talking to. Like, this is all just rambling. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, I send them the video. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, if you have any additional questions, please feel free to ask, because I just feel like I said a bunch of nothing for an hour. And they're like, no, oh my God, this was relevant. That was relevant. This happened. This name, blah, blah, blah. Like, I was at work the other day. I just have to talk about this because this is half your forecast, half my talk therapy session. I was at work the other day and I was like, I'm trying not to be psychic, like trying not to be psychic. And then this woman was asking me about my college education, and I like blanked out and I was like, oh, something something American University. I've never been to American University. Well, I never attended school there or whatever. And and then she was like, I was like, oh, and then I corrected myself and said the right school. And then I was like, well, where do you go to school? She's like, I go to American University. And like, I don't know that my coworkers currently know that I'm psychic, but I do feel like they looked me up online or are talking shit about me a little bit. So I think she may be have become a sincere believer from that. And you might have an instance like that from this video, or with speaking with somebody at work, like this. I said this Page of Swords. In your sixth house, so you might talk to a nurse who's like very intuitive, and healing you. Like, you might go into the doctor's office and you're like, from the way that you're sitting, they might be able to give you like a really quick diagnosis to whatever health issues that you're ignoring. And it could just be like inflammation in your joints and hips that you need to like stretch and do yoga to heal. I don't really see that in your cards, necessarily, but I always feel like that's a good thing to do, especially because now that we're moving into February 2026, we have the Ten of Wands reversed, um, which is saying to me that you're like I said, like you're like exhausted. So I think that it being reversed so far in the future talks about this feelings of exhaustion ending. These feelings of exhaustion ending. I'm feeling a little bit exhausted recording this video because my intention was for it to be like 20 minutes, if not 5 or 6, and it is nearly an hour. So I feel that energy too. Um, but with the Aquarian energy with February, I always say that this card represents your vibration. So you have this vibration of being like burnt out, completely exhausted, bad reputation, negative judgment, and it's attracting like either people to ask for their money back, their possessions back, gifts they gave you back, um, all those kinds of things. So, just be sure to speak better things into existence. And it's like, well, how do you change your vibration? There could be an Aquarius or a Sagittarius who's purposely exhausting you and trying to make you feel tired. So what do you do? With the Ten of Wands reversed, like the advice here, especially with the Six of Swords in your fifth house, is saying like aromatherapy, incense, perfume, things to heal yourself. Travel in 2025 might be exhausting, and 2026 might be a better time to start your, Euro trip, or, your, what is it? Like, travel around the world in 48 days, or whatever that movie was with Jackie Chan and Owen Wilson, I think. But it's like, yeah, it's like something like you want to travel everywhere very quickly, like go on tour maybe as a musician. And I don't think that 2026 is the year. I don't think that 2025 is the year, but you could this could be like the beginning of it. And so moving into March 2026, the end of this reading, as I'm sure you, hopefully you have a beverage and you're just like chilling out, maxing, relaxing, listening to my voice and receiving this download. Uh, but in March 2026, I'm seeing the Two of Swords. So with the Two of Swords here, it just talks about like blockages. So, you might have this really great project that you want to work on. You might have a really great career that you're a part of, and you really want to get the ball rolling and things started. But there's other pieces that need to be there. You might want to start a baseball team. You might want to start a completely aesthetic basketball team. Sort of like the Harlem Globetrotters, but more so like just going out there to play basketball, to be sexy, and to wear sports equipment or whatever, but you don't have a basketball. Ace of Pentacles reversed in the seventh house. You might beg somebody for money to buy a basketball or something like that. But so you might feel blocked from this goal that you're trying to achieve. You may see that someone else is already doing it. um, you just have to go back to the drawing board and rework some things. Also, the Two of Swords is like this message to, like, for me that I've been receiving. It's like to uncross your eyes, uncross your legs, open up your eyes. Especially when I'm seeing this like Page of Swords, like you adverting your eyes to something. It's like work on your vision, both literal and figurative. Uncross your legs because it's bad for psychic channeling and energy. Like whenever you receive or give a tarot reading, you're supposed to have like your energy open, which is like your arms unfolded, your legs uncrossed, and your eyes open. So you might be sitting there with like your arms folded and your legs crossed and your eyes closed. Uncross your legs, open up your arms, open up your eyes, receive the message. Um, and this could just naturally be your posture. And as I'm saying, like the fifth house is obstacles. The 12th house definitely talks about ways that we get in our own way. So you might create situations in which people, Geminis, Pisces may block you. And you're like, how come Geminis suck? How come Pisces suck? I'm blocking them all. Or there might be a lot of Geminis or Pisces that have blocked you, and you might be not understanding why they're doing that. Um, so by March 2026, they might block you again, or you may have a better understanding as to why that situation is continuously reoccurring with air sign and water sign people in your life. Okay, so I usually talk about like energy that you're walking away from and energy that you're heading towards. The energy that I see that you're walking away from is that of the Fool. So 2024 and I guess the beginning of 2025, like January, February, March 2025, you might be walking a lot. You might be babysitting. You might be dog walking. You might have a baby. You might have a dog that you own. And I see that time period is going to be heavily dominated by that. And then the energy that you're heading towards is that of the Seven of Wands reversed. So this is also why I keep talking about Libra and power struggles. That you might be in a power struggle with a Leo or a Sagittarius and may not know it. Like, if you're dating somebody and you're cheating on them or they're cheating on you, uh, you know, you might be thinking like, I don't have one single Leo or Sagittarius in my life, and it's like, no, you don't, but Tom Brady, your boyfriend, does. Um, or there might be somebody that you had like a careless affair with. Um, you might be dating a Sagittarius, and then the Leo that you're cheating on that Sagittarius with is cheating on you with a Sagittarius, you know what I mean? So just be aware of that. And then it's like, I guess, like, whatever it is, like, it's like the Seven of Swords, like you being caught in a lie and not having the higher ground, like them having evidence or proof. So, I don't see the tower there, so it's not this really like horrible moment or anything. I actually just see the tower right now, but it's reversed, so it's avoiding disaster. So you might get caught before the situation escalates. Like, they might see text messages or something of that nature before it gets to the point that they want to break up and leave or whatever it is. But just be aware of power games. I mean, I was watching the music video for Gym Class Heroes Cupid's Chokehold, and it's actually a very powerful storytelling that's happening in that music video if you go back and watch it. Um, where he's dating this like kind of like, like hood black girl, and she's cool and she's fine except for like, he doesn't really like he's not really taking care of himself. And then he starts dating this like uppity like French woman who's sort of embarrassed by him and his friends. Travis McCoy, the singer from Gym Class Heroes. And then eventually in the song he ends up with um, Katy Perry, who I don't believe was like, she wasn't super famous at the time of the video, but it's Katy Perry. So, as I'm talking, like doing this reading and I'm like, blah, 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 Tom Brady, blah, 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 Tom Brady. It's like, this Queen of Swords reversed, she might be somebody who is from your hometown that you love and that, you're willing to spend your last dollars on, but she doesn't want your last dollars. And then there could be this Queen of Cups, Cancer, Capricorn energy, who settled around your work and career, who doesn't care about your lack of finances, but maybe cares about your lack of emotion or feeling, or she might have a lack of feelings and emotion and love because of whatever situation she went on with her mother. And you, Libra, this could be just the start of maybe by 2027, or in an energy that's more about love, because I think in 2026, I think will be more about career and destiny. Um, you could be attracting your like celebrity crush. Um, you could be, and the thing is about a celebrity crush too, like depending on where your vibration is, with that 11th house, and like I talked about, you getting a job with Tommy Bahama, your celebrity crush, depending on your vibration and how you treat yourself and how you take care of yourself, that could be you running into Leonardo DiCaprio at Starbucks and him being like, oh, excuse me, hi, hey, whatever. Versus if, you're working on yourself and, the like celebrities, they're vain and narcissistic, and I don't think there's anything to really work towards specifically. But it may not be Leonardo DiCaprio. It might be the quarterback from your high school. And it's like if you've been eating Jolly Ranchers and not brushing your teeth since high school and you run into them, they're going to be like, oh, wow, you look different. Bye. Versus if you've been like loving yourself, taking care of yourself, doing yoga, doing little spa treatments here and there when you can. Things that are free, like brushing your teeth, doing sit-ups, like just taking care of yourself, like not even necessarily like joining a gym and wearing Louis Vuitton all day. You could run into your high school quarterback, your college quarterback, your celebrity crush, and it could even be someone you have a lot of respect for. You might like run into Steve Harvey and he's like, oh, you have a nice suit. There's a nice amount of buttons on your suit. I need a suit like that. So like just be aware and be happy and be joyful, because you never know how and when it's going to happen. Yeah, so that's what I see for Libra. I see there's going to be like some, villainous Valentine stuff, which is a very normal part of a Libra's life and existence. But I also see like some wishes and dreams coming true if you practice these affirmations and keep working on your vision. And it's not like if you don't say these affirmations, these things won't happen. You know what I mean? Because like I might be afraid of the dark, and every night around 7 or 8 o'clock when it gets dark, I might be like really afraid. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna start praying. I'm gonna say my affirmations. And yes, the prayers and the affirmations might make me feel more satisfied to go to sleep or to feel safe, and to give me faith and hope that the sun will rise tomorrow. And maybe I'm not giving myself enough credit. Maybe it is because of my affirmations that the sun rises every morning. But I know that the sun is going to rise. So I know that the sun is going to rise. I know that you're going to find love. I know that you're going to find a fulfilling career. It's just about you maintaining yourself and the faith until you get there. If I become so fearful in the middle of the night from an irrational fear of the dark that I, do something horrible to myself, then I'll never get to see my manifestation of the sun rising the next day. And so it's like if I'm applying for this job at Tommy Bahama and I just start going on a drug and alcohol bender, I may not get that job. And then actually, worst case scenario, I may get the job and I come in there looking like Jimmy Buffett's ghost, So just remember that. Just remember that, okay? Thank you so much for listening, and I hope to hear from you in the future. If you would like to book with me for your own personal tarot forecast, you can do so on my booking link or message me on Reddit or LinkedIn or Instagram, and then we can get the party started, okay? All right, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.